Join me as I dive deep into the real story of the United States and challenge everything you thought you knew about its history. Before we continue, please like and subscribe to this channel, because this helps me a lot in bringing you videos like this. Now let's continue. In this video, you'll explore the real story of the United States, delving into its history, challenges, and the narratives that have defined it. The American dream, the land of the free, and the home of the brave, these are just a few of the phrases that have been used to describe the United States. But is this really the whole story? The truth is, American history is complex, messy, and often contradictory. From the very beginning, the country was built on two conflicting ideas: freedom and slavery. The founders of the nation wrote about the importance of liberty and equality, while simultaneously owning slaves and restricting the rights of marginalized groups. One of the most glaring contradictions in American history is the treatment of Native Americans. The native population was decimated by disease, violence, and forced relocation, all while the newly formed government was touting the principles of democracy and freedom. Meanwhile, African Americans were brought to the country against their will, enslaved, and treated as less than human. How can we reconcile these brutal realities with the lofty ideals of the American dream? The American narrative has consistently downplayed or erased these inconvenient truths, instead focusing on the heroic tales of pioneers, inventors, and freedom fighters. But this selective storytelling has led to a distorted view of the country's past and present. It's time to confront the fact that the United States was built on stolen land, stolen labor, and stolen bodies. As we explore the complexities of American history, we must also examine the key events and movements that have shaped the nation's identity. From the Declaration of Independence to the Civil Rights Movement, each of these moments has contributed to the current narrative of the United States. The Revolutionary War, the Civil War, the Industrial Revolution, and the women's suffrage movement, all of these events have left an indelible mark on the country's psyche. The Declaration of Independence, for example, proclaimed that all men are created equal, but it didn't apply to women, Native Americans, or enslaved people. The Civil War, fought over the issue of slavery, ultimately led to the abolition of slavery, but it didn't end racial inequality. The Industrial Revolution brought unprecedented economic growth, but it also created a new class of industrialists who exploited workers and the environment. Each of these events, though significant, has been whitewashed or romanticized, obscuring the harsh realities of the past. The Civil Rights Movement of the 1950s and 60s, led by figures like Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks, challenged the status quo and demanded equal rights for African Americans. But even this movement was not without its flaws and contradictions. The Black Power movement, the Chicano movement, and the American Indian movement, all of these intersecting movements fought for their own rights and freedoms, often at odds with the mainstream civil rights narrative. Pivotal moments in American history have reshaped the nation's identity, often in response to internal crises or external pressures. The Civil War, for instance, fundamentally transformed the country's understanding of slavery and states' rights. The Civil Rights Movement forced the government to confront its own hypocrisy and take concrete steps towards equality. Each of these moments has contributed to the complexities of the American story, revealing the ongoing struggles for power, justice, and identity. The Mexican-American War, the Spanish-American War, and the two World Wars, each of these conflicts has had a profound impact on the nation's identity and its relationship with the world. The United States has consistently positioned itself as a beacon of democracy and freedom, but its actions on the global stage have often told a different story. As we delve deeper into the complexities of the American story, it becomes clear that understanding this history is crucial for addressing present-day issues. We cannot comprehend the Black Lives Matter movement, for example, without understanding the legacy of slavery, segregation, and systemic racism. We cannot address income inequality without examining the roots of capitalism and the concentration of wealth. The American story is complex, multifaceted, and often painful. It is a story of contradictions, of triumphs and tragedies, of heroes and villains. But it is also a story that is still being written, still being shaped by the struggles and triumphs of those who call the United States home. Thanks for watching. If you want to share your thoughts on the real story of the United States, please leave a comment below. Don't forget to check out my other videos on history and culture, and hit that subscribe button for more content like this.